Oh, hello. Hi, Ariel.
Hi, Tom.
Oh, listen, I tell you what, it's been so exciting. We've come to the last week of the regular season of Rocket League, and hasn't it been absolutely fantastic?
I have loved every single minute of it, Tom, and it's still going to be absolutely incredible because we have 4 incredible games today, then we've got the playoffs, then we've got the finals. As they say, the best is yet to come.
Ariel, that's my line. I get to say it every time at the start of the show. No, it's fine, but I mean, it's just... Yes, as Ariel just said, we've got 4... Oh, you've just heard it. Here's what's coming up. Envy's victory over Method was bittersweet, as they took the points, but not the playoffs.
Envy take the series 3-2, but they are out of playoff contention.
They face Excel in match 1. The talented Niels Cook and co know the results could and should have been much better.
I really do think that it's all about Niels Cook myself. I mean, he needs to pop off because when Excel win, Niels is the MVP.
Prophecy are safely in the playoffs, but will need to rediscover their early season form if they're to progress further.
Sebadam wins the game for Prophecy!
Envyus face their former players Ironite and Sebadam, still searching for a first win of the season. Could they pull off something special?
Oh, there you go, though.
That's more like it.
Champions Endpoint are moving through the gears nicely. Back-to-back titles look a real possibility.
Endpoint continue their run in the Elite Series.
They face Epsilon in match 3, who after getting their first win of the season last week, might just fancy an upset.
What an aerial from Flarkey. They've got their first win. Yeah!
Method Big Gun Metsanorius comes back into the lineup as they look to make a statement ahead of the playoffs.
Oh, it's just not enough. Metsanorius just keeping the aggression on.
But it'll be far from easy against the seemingly unbeatable, unstoppable Reason.
Fair Reason Gaming pull out some brilliance.
Yes, welcome to the Gfinity Arena here in West London. Now, I am delighted to say that I am being joined by Johnny Boy and Shogun, checkmates. Look at you, gentlemen, looking very dapper today.
Not even deliberate, I'm telling you. It's a complete accident every single week.
Well, you probably would have had to have an email from Shogun, because where have you been? Tell everyone where you've been.
Well, I've been off over in Washington, D.C. casting the RLCS World Championships. And I've managed to bring back Metsanorius with me. He's safe and sound, so we will be able to see him later on today. I hope he's brought his little hat with him.
I hope so.
His hat's the best.
But how's he doing after that, obviously, the final loss and playing? How many hours would they've had to play continuously for Rocket League? Just to put it into context.
They played at the top level of Rocket League for at least 2 hours during that grand finals. They played the upper bracket finals, which they lost. Then they went down, took down the top-seeded North American team, came back over, and then ended up losing to the top-seeded European team. But Method really showed up, and honestly, you give a lot of credit to them from playing at Gfinity. They got that LAN experience playing here. It's good to see that he's going to be coming back to give back to now the area that's given him so much.
Yeah, and he'll come back, Metsanorius, and see his teammates did a great job last week for him. It's been exciting. Those playoff places are finalised, but there's a lot of pride going to be played up there.
Oh yeah, this is all about pride now. I mean, the sub-squad, Toasty and Bipod, they're back again, and they want more, because last week they got the job done. They got the 1 point that they needed to secure playoffs, but they still haven't had that series win together. So maybe today they could get that finally under their belt. I mean, Bipod's at the series win, but Toasty, he's still waiting on that one.
Yeah, and looking at the fixtures today, a very exciting little contest coming up. And obviously, last one of the day, Method, who we've just been talking about, and all the experience they've had at the moment, versus Reason, who are looking for 7 wins in a row. It's never happened in the Elite Series. But some great fixtures to start with. Team Envy, Team Excel, both have disappointed, but they've got the pride, as you said, Johnny Boy, up there that they're playing for.
Yeah, this is all about pride today. Like you said, the playoffs are locked in, so all these guys are just going to be playing for the pride. Maybe like trying to start something off for next season, maybe lock in their spot, because some of these teams, you know, like between season 1 and 2, will be looking to make some changes, and players who want to secure their spot will want to play well today.
Yeah, I mean, Team Envyus, that we look there, Shogun, right at the bottom with 1 point. That is not the Envyus we saw last year, is it?
Absolutely not. I mean, the roster is not even at all the same at this point in time, because it has just been such a disappointing season for them. Now is the time for their players to really step up and try and prove that they belong on the roster next season. But even then, we're still missing some of the players. They lost the passion this season. I feel like they almost expected to be handed it to them, whilst you see Reason there at the very, very top. They worked their nuts off for this, and they got the results for it.
Brilliant. Well, I tell you what, we are down here at the steps. I look forward to sitting back down at the desk in a second. But a man who always makes me feel hungry, and I don't know why, he's currently with Ariel. It's Waffle and Pondex.
Have you had your breakfast this morning, Tom? I'm thinking not, but yes, I am enjoyed by Waffle and Pondex. So both of you, we've just been talking, you can't make it into the playoffs, but you have to keep playing for the franchise tables, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Envy made it through last night in Street Fighter, but how does that mean? Does that mean you're a bit more relaxed going into the game today, or?
I mean, it's awesome to see the Street Fighter guys playing so well. Also, the CS team, I think they need to win next week as well. They need to win like 16-9 maximum to go through.
So you still, even though everyone's saying playing for Pride, you are still playing for the rest of the guys out there. There's a lot of pressure on that, surely.
Yeah, we hope to make Envy proud and all the fans.
And how about yourself, Pondex? You guys are playing for the franchise table as well, aren't you?
I mean, we definitely didn't travel all the way to London to just lose on purpose. So
I like that. Have you been putting the training in this week?
Definitely not.
What?
I've been on a school trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're here now. You're in London town. You're ready to play the first game. Exciting times?
Yeah.
Who do you think's got it today between Reason and Method at the end of the day? Reason undefeated, Method kind of been changing the lineup quite a lot.
I think it depends on if Method is going to bring the full lineup. If they are, I think Method is going to win.
If not, then Reason?
Yeah.
Well, we're asking you over on Twitter to get involved today. If you do want to get involved, the Gfinity Twitter page is at Gfinity, funnily enough. You can use the hashtag Elite Series. Let us know what you're thinking about all the action today in the playoffs going through to next week's semi-finals.
Thank you very much, Ariel, and to Waffle and Pondex. Looking forward to their match, which is just up in a few minutes' time. It's time once more to open up the Rocket League A to Z. And here's the next letter, right on cue. See what I did? No, not happy.
Rocket League is an incredibly fast-paced game, which can make it hard to chat to teammates or the opposition mid-game. The Quick Chat feature is designed to make that possible. Great memes have been born from the Quick Chat feature on Rocket League, so keep an eye out for people telling you how calculated they are or how much of a great save you've just pulled off. Or not, of course.
Look at that, Q, because I mean, right on cue. Like no, thank you. No, it's all right. I've got a writing team. It's fine. Who write it all for me. Listen, Johnny Boy, Shogun, first match, Excel taking on Envy. Envy, why has it not happened this season with such talent on their roster?
Again, it's the same story as last season. They're just almost making playoffs, but now they don't even have a chance going into week 7. So, bit of a disappointment for these guys. I'm sure they would have expected more of themselves. They do hold themselves in quite high regard, but the competition kind of elevated. And although I do think they played better this season than last, so did everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, he was so disappointed, Waffle, because we love the wall of Waffle. And yes, the name does make me hungry because I haven't had my breakfast. But looking at that lineup, what do you make of that? And why is it not click, Shogun?
I think it's a lineup that really has got different goals in mind. Every single player on there, they understand that they are very unlikely to end up on the Envy main roster, so they're trying to make names for themselves here in the Elite Series. And that affects them as a team. They don't work together quite as much because each of them wants to step up and be that big main player. And when you've got a team of players all trying to be the superstar, no one does.
OK, well, we'll see what happens with their roster changes for Season 3. But moving on to Excel, a little change in the lineup, and what a great name it is. I'm going to enjoy shouting his name as I welcome him down to the arena. There you go, Charging Dingle, right on the far right there.
You did pretty well there with all the capital letters.
Oh, they actually kept the capital letters.
And Pondex and Niels Cook, the Cookie Monster. Again, all the potential, and they started off so well with the season. 3-1 victory against Epsilon and then Infused, but then it petered out, didn't it?
Yeah, they were the team coming in. We really thought they might be a top 2 team alongside Method, but other teams like Reason and Prophecy showed up. Endpoint came back and they did just as well as last season. And Excel, they didn't do as their name would suggest. They have looked so good online, but they just can't bring that to the stage. It might be a bit of a mental block, a little bit of lack of comfort playing in this environment. But other teams, the other teams have shown that they can do it. So Excel just have to try to show that today, or they're going to lose another series.
Yeah. Will their minds be getting that victory to give them a momentum going into other tournaments and elsewhere?
I mean, it really has to be at this point in time. We saw them do incredibly well during the RLCS, but they've also had such a rough patch following on from it. But it's actually very hard for us to tell whether or not RLCS for them was a good phase or if this is a bad phase. They need to start picking up some wins now just to prove which it really is, and that they are a solid team that can bounce back, because right now, every time we see them play, we're like, they're the best, they can definitely do it, and then they show up so subpar up on the stage that it has to change right now. I'm hoping Charging Dinkle is going to be the player to do it, because that boy has traveled to come here. I saw him taking pictures on a bike.
Okay,
trying to get here.
That's dangerous, but also, you know, rewarding. And I like the fact he's Dinkle. It was a German pronunciation there from your Shogun. Yeah?
There you go.
Yeah, Dinkle. Anyway, I'm going to say it in its English little form right now as I welcome the players out for Excel and Envy. For Excel, you have Pondex, you have Charging Dingle, and you also have Niels Cook. And for Envy, you have Freeze, Mal, and Waffle! Yes, that's what I like, a bit of banter, a little bit of a joke from this guy. You're joining 4 versus 2, what will happen? Obviously, Niels Cook will go... He's a winder, what a joker. Listen, the guys are ready to play, they are getting sorted. While they do that, meanwhile, we'll have a look at their facts and figures. Love that. Look at that. We look like we were going to go run with the players, but they're going to get ready. Gentlemen, you look at the lineup, you look at the banter from Niels Cook there.
Was it banter? Was it really?
Or was he letting us know who he's playing for next season? Who knows? What could happen? But what do you reckon is going to be the outcome of this match? Who would you go for?
I'm giving it to Envy. They're the consistent roster, and I think, you know, it's going to be a bit of a disappointment not to be playing, you know, into the playoffs, but that's a little bit of pressure off their shoulders as well. I think they might just pop off and show us a little bit of flair today. OK, flair is on the cards. That's what we'll be dining on. But do you think Envy will win it, or do you reckon Excel will have a bit of flair?
I mean, I've got to go Excel here. Not because of the 2 main roster players, but because of Charging Dingle. Any man that is willing to commit to that bike ride over to the airport knows how to commit to a rotation. Yeah. He is going to be the man to step up here.
He's fit, he's ready for it. Well, listen, gentlemen, congratulations on giving me your prediction. We'll see whether you can celebrate your win. But right now, I'm going to throw down to the main guys down there. You have got, of course, the 2 boys, Stumpy and your main man, Greg. And gentlemen, what is going on? How do you see this one going?
Thank you very much, Tom. I'm interested to know how Excel will do here, because Pondex has been away on a school trip. Charging Dingle has cycled here. He must be exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it didn't look like a short ride by any means. He was taking pictures along the way of nice little landmarks as well. Yeah, so we've got, obviously, the consistent Envy roster and then a sort of little bit of a mismatched Excel roster. Yeah, how do you think Envy are going to do?
Do you know what? I keep hoping Envy are going to step up, and we talk about the wall of waffle every week. But if you actually look at his stats, he's scoring a lot of goals. He's currently 4th in the league on goals, so he's obviously changed things up a bit. Playing with Frizz a bit during the week, and he's one of those players where if he's in the right frame of mind, he can play incredibly well. So hopefully today they step up. As Johnny said, they've got no pressure. They'll just pop off. And as we get into the game, Team Envyus versus Excel to start things off.
Immediately, a shot coming out just over the crossbar for Envy, but Niels Cook's going to be able to clear that out back into the middle with Pondex leading it up, trying to get the charge going as early as possible, showing that despite the fact they've got a sub on the team, that they will still be able to come out against, like I said, the consistent roster of Envy.
Yeah, and I do feel like Pondex and Niels are quality players who have the ability to adapt, but it does worry me the amount of practice they're having at the moment, whether they've still got that natural, innate ability to play Rocket League at the top level. We'll find out today, but Charging Dingle's always been an entertaining member of the community as he sets up Niels in the middle for an infield pass boomer.
Fantastic pass there into the centre. Takes it round, does not go off the corner or the sidewall. Throws Mal off a little bit. Gets it over the top of 2 defenders in the net. Really going for their chances there to try and save it. But that will take it to 1-0 for Excel.
Good luck reacting to a 125 km/h shot. Niels, he's always been very good at timing that ball well. Oh, Pondex having to make the backward save, but it is Waffle, the man we mentioned with a lot of goals, gets his 17th of the series.
There you see another passing play. They're going to be so dangerous here. We've seen last season how well Method did with them, and that every single team is now really going to be sort of maybe having less favour towards these solo plays and going more for passes into the centre and really utilising the space that 2 or even 3 players can create.
Yeah, I was mentioning it earlier this week on Twitter, talking about how the power of shots has changed. Our perception of what a powerful shot is completely different. We've just seen 125 km/h, 107. Back in the day when these players were first starting out, they weren't able to do such strong passes. And so it meant 100 km/h shot was incredible. Now it's standard. So we'll hopefully be seeing plenty more of those as the series goes on. But a fairly neutral start, both teams getting a simple shot on net and looking fairly neutral elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Dingle will fit into this roster. Obviously, we saw Pondex at the start of this season slot into the existing Excel roster, and he came out fantastically in his debut. But there's a lot of pressure coming on here from Envy, really trying to work away at the Excel defense.
Waffle just playing wall ball with himself there. But yeah, we've noticed Envyus as well, the player who is missing for Excel. He changes his playstyle week on week, which is part of the reason why I don't think Excel are doing so well, is because they haven't got a consistent method of playing. And perhaps charging Dingle coming in might spark Pondex and Nielscook to play a bit better. But Envy, they've been looking good, but just not getting enough wins. As we mentioned earlier, they are just missing out on playoffs as they did in Season 1.
Yeah, I mean, alongside the wall of Waffle, who, like you said, had been on the massive offense, he is actually equal fourth with Envyus, or unless now he's just overtaken him with 17 goals. Envyus is the top scorer for Excel, so maybe losing him for this week. Despite the fact there's nothing to play for, or apart from pride.
Pondex coming in through the middle, picking up on that mistake as we hear the roar of the new Batmobile goal explosion.
I love that, the BAM! Look at that. Hang on, wait for it. Bah, it's so powerful,
deep, isn't it?
It's so deep, it rumbles
right in
the arena.
Chest.
It's wonderful. So they've now taken, Excel have now taken the lead at half time, half the game left, but it's been very, very close so far.
It has, and it was just a mistake there that caused that second goal. Mount looking to clear it, not quite able to get to it, and that was an easy shot for Pondex, but both teams will be hoping those mistakes aren't too common, because that has probably been the downfall of Envy. They've looked great until they just make an irrational decision, which leads to an easy goal for the opposition. And ultimately, if you're giving away easy goals, it makes it a lot tougher to win games.
Oh, just the miss on that save there. It didn't need to save it, but it would have been nice to get it out a little bit quicker as they go on a nice quick counter-attack. Freeze taking a shot at Pondex, easily saves it past to Nielscook in the corner, who then sends it further downfield as a through ball towards charging Dingle, who's going to try and delicately place it into the middle, but a little bit of a floater, and quite an easy clear out. Nielscook going for a nice save there, getting it out again. 2 players up, can they get a quick counter-attack? No, Waffle is there, the halfway line. Half rotation, so important now.
I'm liking these passing ideas, but they're just not putting them in dangerous enough places. They're looking to find each other, but they're causing the teammate they're hitting it to delay their attack because they have to readjust. The pass isn't quite in that zone which you're looking for. That's a good miss. That's going to cause a fake out.
It seems like they're passing just slightly behind the players every single time. They're not getting the through ball, like you'd sort of say in football, where it's coming in front of them so they can run onto it and then have the power shot.
Exactly. I mean, the ultimate idea of a pass is put it in front of a teammate so that they can get there first before your opposition. And it's kind of happening, but it means that the next touch isn't really working in their favor. But we are entering the final minute now, and it is Excel who are just ahead, which is what I would expect if it was main rosters, but we've still got questions about charging Dingle. That shot is going to be going in as Waffle gets his second of the game and takes it to a level score.
Nice little drop down there from Waffle. The pass coming in from Mount. Realises there's no defenders in net, so he doesn't need to go for anything powerful, doesn't need to go crazy with it. Can just drop it in with his belly, and very, very nicely evens his game up. 45 seconds left. We're going to see now, I think this is the proving grounds for charging Dingle to see if he can deal with the pressure of the first game of his first LAN experience as well.
Exactly. Being on stage, it's incredibly nerve-wracking. He came in very confident, and then at the final moment, I think he got those butterflies, which everyone does when they first go on stage. You don't really know what to expect until you're up there, because playing Rocket League at home is very different to being on stage. And I think that's probably been the downfall of Excel. They've not been quite used to this LAN environment, because online would probably back them to have come up in the top 2 or 3 of the Elite Series Season 2. But we enter these final moments. Will we get into an overtime, or will either team be able to take it away in the final moments? This is dangerous now. Excel looking to put pressure on in the box. Still open for them. Pwned is going to look to find Niels, who's pre-jumped. Can he get the shot?
Oh, gets the shot off, but safe by Mount. Waffle's going to get it on the corner bounce. We'll go for it. Freeze is going to get up, keeps it up in the corner towards the orange half. Freeze into the middle. Mount goes for the shot, gets cleared out by Niels Cook, and this should land. Yeah, there we go, off the backboard. Overtime for the first game of the day. So even so far.
It has been, and I think it's been that midfield. It's been very neutral. Both teams looking in fairly good control once a mistouch happens. But it is really the team that can better pass on that final moment and get that clean shot on net who will be the difference maker, because that is the toughest thing to do consistently in Rocket League. Oh, fake there.
Oh, that was nice. Going underneath the, underneath Waffle. Oh, no, sorry, Mount, when he just thought he was going to go high with it. Goes nice and low. Mount gets it just top left of the crossbar. Allowing to maybe the slowest counter-attack in history. Nothing particularly happening.
I did just touch your hand.
Yeah, I was letting over, touch my hand as well. I'm in you with this, Greg, and we're here together.
I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. As we are seeing probably a very slow-paced game compared to what we've been used to this weekend, with Mount finishing the game off. 3-2, Envy do take the final moment, and it is Mount all on his own after Waffle hitting that backboard. Takes it past Pwndex. A bad challenge from Pwndex. That week off going on a school trip has really affected his ability to 50-50.
Yeah, Legoland obviously does not have computers to practice Rocket League on.
Yes, Denmark's finest amusement park.
Yeah, the best, I think that's Denmark's only export is Lego.
Is it?
Yeah, it's remarkable. It's the only export, and they've made a hell of an economy out of it.
I'm sure they export a lot of Legos.
A lot of Lego. We're going to have a little look at the replays here now. Going to see, because in that final goal I saw, Charging Dingle made a defensive error and passed it into the centre. But that was not an error at all on his behalf, passing it beautifully across to Niels Cook.
Yeah, the infield passes were the real winners here. As I do a Jonathan Wass impression, can't pronounce ours, but that was the moment there. When Waffle got up to that shot, it was a beautiful pass from Mount, unexpected, squeezed it against the corner, popped it into the middle. And it did allow for the finish, and that is what got Envy back in the game, and it was that final moment from Mount that finished the game off. But yes, it's been a scrappy game so far.
Yeah, I think both these teams, they're going to try and figure out, I think we say this very often when just one sub comes in, they're going to figure out where the sub fits into the team. Yeah. They're going to see, are they going to try and take the place of Zenzus in Charging Dingle's case, or are they just going to sit back and let the other two do their thing? And I think Charging Dingle, I think he did a mix of both, to be honest. He didn't sit back and he didn't try and go forward too much. He very much stayed into himself and did what he is capable of doing. Yeah. And what he did well, he did well.
Yeah, looking at the scoreboard, he had quite a low score in game one, so that probably suggests he was sitting back a little bit more. But we will find out in this game whether he looks to step it up, because again, it was his first game on the Gfinity stage. That might have played into the fact that he had a low score because he didn't want to get involved too much. Let his veteran teammates do a little bit more. As that is a shot opportunity. Pwndex, I can tell you now, I've seen him score those. And he should be scoring them.
Scoring an open net from a bit of an angle, but not so much that it should be a massive issue. So he's going to be disappointed with himself for that. Envy with a nice counter-attack. Niels Cook missing, but that also forces Waffle to miss. He tries to get it around the defender, Niels Cook, trying to work it out. Gets over towards Pwndex, but Waffle intercepts before they can make anything of it, and the counter-attack, or the counter-attack, I guess, gets thwarted.
Oh, he's taking it past two. If they can find the final player, which is Pwndex, he's not quite able to get the shot. They did the right thing there. They took it past two players, passed it around the last one, but Pwndex just fluffed up the shot, and it did result in a bit of an error there. So they are creating opportunities. That's going to be a shot on net. Can they make the save? No, they cannot. Mount finds a bounce shot into the goal on an empty net.
Niels Cook with the centre there. Pwndex did not necessarily read that in time, or Mao just intercepted absolutely fantastically, getting over the top of him and seeing that there was no one in net and able to save it. So again, like Waffle shot last game, just needs it on target. So that's 1-0, just over a minute gone. And it seems like there's been equal pressure again.
I mean, it's not a fast enough paced game to really force a team into a lot of pressure. There's not going to be much grinding down. It seems to be back and forth. So once a team gets into a half, it then gets cleared long, like he's going to see it now. Mistouch happens, and then they can't keep that pressure on. And you need a lot of control with your car and your team to keep that pressure on, which we normally see at the highest level of Rocket League, to keep them down. as the ball goes into the middle of Pondex clear. Flops it over Mount. It is going to be Excel in reasonable control, but I just don't feel like either team is putting a lot of space on their touches.
Oh, sending that down. Sorry, sending that down right to the center. Charging Dingle does get the shot off the bumps. Coming in, Charging Dingle. I think he's going to try and go aggressive now. With a nice big counter-attack comes on. Mount gets over the top, above the crossbar. Nielskog saving the shot from Freeze. Waffle trying to keep it in the orange half. But Charging Dingle with a big clear. Mount is going to have to tip it over the crossbar from halfway as well.
He's just Spider-Man-y up there. Wrong superhero, my man. You are the Batman.
The double Spider-Man save off the backboard as well.
As we reach halfway through the game, it is Envy who are 1 goal up, but it looks like everyone has stopped moving.
Are they carrying on?
I think there was a mutual agreement there to all just have a pause.
Someone's controller might have messed up. That's fine. It looks like they're carrying on.
Do you know, I'd have a prediction at Frizz. Because I know that the other day when I played with him, his controller stopped working.
Oh, really?
I had to carry the man for a brief moment. But that's not going to be a mistake as Waffle finds the backboard. He doesn't need a controller issue to keep his team in the game. He can do it all himself. As that is a beautiful recorrection, sending himself upside down to finish that ball off the backboard.
Again, that was a pass into the center from Dingle. He could have taken a touchdown, led it up the backboard, taken it round the corner, and then gone for a big clear. Instead, he's just touched it up into the middle, and there was none of his teammates there. Maybe it might be a communication issue where they don't know what he's going to do, so he needs to be saying more of what his plan is going to be.
Yeah, that is a very good point. We don't know what these guys are saying on stage, and that is potentially something Excel have struggled with this season because they've not felt comfortable in the Gfinity environment, and communication is often an area where you notice mistakes start to come up. Double commits happen. You see players misposition because they don't really know where their teammates are. This is a slow,
very
through
slow
the middle play. You have to do a little bit more than that to outplay this Envy team, as they are 2 goals up, so they're just going to be holding back, waiting for the mistakes, ready to pounce.
Yeah, Envy are currently on a little bit of a winning streak. They've had 2 wins in a row so far. Excel, they've had 4 losses in a row. Their only 4 losses have come in the last 4 weeks. They're not going to want this to be their 5th loss.
Oh, for sure. I mean, coming into the Elite Series, we're all talking about how great Excel are, how we're excited to see the Method versus Excel domination. And now we're looking at them as one of the bottom 3, potentially. In fact, it's very likely at this rate, with Envy being 1 game up and 2 goals up in game 2, looking to secure this one with these final 50 seconds. We're going to need to see some aggression from Excel to even come back this game. Otherwise, the reverse sweep will be required.
I mean, good long shot.
All the way from his own half.
So did he take a little touch? No, he just goes from it off the little, what do you call that, a little curve?
Yeah, we'll call it a curve.
Yeah, the little side curve. As it comes off there, obviously it bounces slightly differently. He has read that so well. I've seen loads of champion level players, they'll get that wrong and they'll miss it if they go for an aerial, or they'll just get a bad touch. He's got a shot from his own half with that, so credit to him. Taking that to only a 1 goal deficit they need to fulfill to bring this series to 1-1.
Oh, they're all up. They all want a piece of that. This is a chance now for Envy to get the breakaway. All they got to do is get it past the final player, who's probably going to be low on boost. But no, a Waffle faff in the middle.
Waffle waffled in the middle, didn't he, a little bit there?
Yeah, did nothing for the sake of nothing.
Last 10 seconds, Mount's going to try and get us out their half, but Pondex makes sure it stays in there. Freeze with the big clear. Dingle up again. Pondex trying to get the dunk. Niels can get a shot off from here. Goes up high. Waffle just trying to get it on the floor. Freeze doinks it to safety.
Doinks it to safety.
He
what
doinked
a way
it to safety.
to finish a game.
The only way.
The only way. I mean, Doink tends to send the ball up, so you'd probably not want to doink it. But in that situation, it worked. I'll give you respect. Doinks are required in certain situations.
Thank you. I'm happy that you've admitted it when you said it before, that doinks aren't always needed.
They're not.
I would disagree. That any shot that you should take should be a doink. Fact. It's just a fact.
You shoot in place of doinks just because you don't want to ruin the other team.
Precisely,
yes.
yeah.
But that game does go in Envy's favour as they took the early lead, and then I don't want to say they turtled up. They didn't just look to defend for the rest of the game, but they kept themselves on good pressure in the midfield, not allowing Excel to push and have shots.
They're on a little bit of a run here now then. 2 games down in this series, taking them up to be the favourites to win this. Do we reckon they're going to keep that up, or do you think that Excel could maybe bring back 1, maybe 2, even 3 games, just to try and get another point if they do get the 2?
Well, if I'm correct, I think this secures Envy in that 5th place spot, because Envy are currently sitting on 9 points in the table. This 2-game guarantees them 10 points. Excel are at 6. They cannot possibly move up to the 5th spot. So Envy have done all they need to get themselves into that 5th spot. But I'm sure they'll want to take the clean 3-0 sweep just to prove a point that they are good enough. Because Excel, like we mentioned, they are an RLCS league play team. They're in the top 8 of the RLCS.
So why do you think it is that they don't seem to necessarily be performing at LAN?
I think it's a mixture of their practicing process now since RLCS. They've had a little bit of a pause from taking it as seriously as they did, because obviously that was their first real big opportunity to do well in the RLCS. So they took it incredibly seriously. Now Envy are doing that with Gfinity. This is their big opportunity. So they're putting in the practice, and it's really showing here, because hard-working players beat talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Oh, put that on a poster. That was amazing.
It's in my gym. I kind of...
Oh, I thought you made that up. I wish you stuck with you that you made that up.
I should have done, shouldn't I?
Right, copyright that as soon as you can. The double commit on the back wall doesn't seem to have too many adverse effects. Dingle's going to go for it in the centre. Mount does beat him to it, but Nielscook up from the goal line, gets a big clear over the top of Waffle, of Freeze rather. So Waffle has to try and deal with it. Slows it down so that his teammates can get back, and that if it does get past him with a strong 50-50, then it's not going to be a big drama. Yeah, fantastic save there.
So we are seeing, again, a 0-0 start. They've been quite low-scoring games, low-shooting games, because it has been the midfield that has been the dominating area to return the possession back to the opposition. As you can see there, just Frizz flying up high, but it's not dangerous because it's just giving the power back to Pwned, who gives it back, and we're going to see back and forth over and over again. It's going to take a single pass, something like that. Mount just finding Frizz in space. This is the chance now.
Very strong 50-50 there. Freeze managing to get it in the middle. Pwned does read it off, but more chances like that are going to mean more opportunities for one of the Excel players to mess up, and that it could land it in the middle for a nice, easy shot.
Indeed, we're almost halfway through this game. It barely even feels like we got started here. But Envy looking to shoot.
Good angle!
Frizz testing out Dingle's reaction speed there as he has to change his angle of the car almost instantaneously to save that as Mount, goal line defense. Saves it dangerously towards charging Dingle. Not for his shot.
Has that gone in? I think you can see him smiling there. I think they were expecting a good shot. So when this comes out and just limply flops into the blue net, they were taken aback by that.
My goodness. That reminds me of the Rick's Ronde shot that we saw back in week 4. Because you don't expect that at the highest level. You don't expect them to weakly hit it towards the net. And so these players, they jump in anticipation of a powerful shot. And in that situation, charging Dingle gets his team in the lead for the first time, I think, in this series. But that will not put Envy off, as they will be looking to keep the pressure on Pwned. Oh! Guides that one down. And 2-0 now, Excel.
Nielsen gets it off of his backboard, beating Waffle up. And Pwned touching it down just over Mount. Doesn't even see him there. Pwned completely stone-faced, thinking, right, we're 2-0 up, 2 minutes left. Let's hold off. Or maybe they're going to go on the offensive.
There's Frizz, controller disconnecting. He needs to get a new controller, the poor man.
Or a new cable.
A new cable, anything. He struggles. But
I'll buy him a new cable. They're like £2 on Amazon. They're really not that much.
Or any other retail.
Or any other retailer, yes, very true.
From, yes. The situation we are seeing now is Envy just looking a little bit weaker in their touches. They're not finding each other, just giving it straight back into possession of Excel. And yes, we have been talking badly about Excel's ability here, but they are still good players. If you give them control enough times, they will do something with it and score.
Another shot coming off there by Nielscook towards the Envy net. They are not sitting back. They're not turtling, just like Envy did in that last game. They're not turtling. Miss. Oh, that is a bad miss. Going to lead to a goal from Freeze as well.
Yeah, Freeze doing well, actually, to find the angle and the shot here. Having to readjust after he recognized Pwned missing it. Finds top right corner as the returning, I think that was Nielscook who was charging back after his teammate whiffed. But yes, don't give Envy space, because they will find a way to score.
That's the moral of the story here. There's Kirk trying to get another big clip, but Freeze beats him out. Going to be a rebound shot there by Mount, leads it to an open-ish net. Pondex managed to get back in time.
Good touch.
Awful. Just over the top of Pondex. Over the top of Niels Kirk.
Taken 3 out.
Into the centre, but Niels Kirk gets such a nice save. Pondex tries to work it round the back of Envy. And a clear by Waffle.
I think we are seeing the final minute here slightly different to how the players are seeing it.
Do you think? Okay, right.
There we are.
There we are.
In the game.
It's put back in. The lights have turned on us, so we don't need it. Everyone's back in. We're okay, guys.
The players are still going. I think they didn't notice that. As we are seeing the final 30 seconds here. Team Envy looking to come back and secure it in 3 games. Otherwise, it starts the potential for Excel to come back. But as we mentioned, Envy have already secured that 5th place spot. This is now all for pride. Excel need to prove that they are good enough to be in contention with these top teams of the Gfinity Elite Series. Oh, just 10 seconds left.
Dingle proving to be as disorganised as his name, just flopping around towards the blue net, but it works. But it works.
Players don't expect it. As the ball is grounded and Excel get game 3, putting them 1 goal closer, or 1 game closer to getting that reverse sweep, as that is what was required here. Niels Cook with those 7 shots. You don't often see that many to a single player's name. He has been named the shooter in the past, and he's here trying to prove it once again.
Yeah, he's still not the main goal scorer for their team. That is still on... Oh, no, he might be now. I don't know where he stands above the below the top 5. But saves like that from Dingle. He did well with them. And that shot...
That's a highlight and a half there. Charging Dingle. Showing he's not all about power.
I think his skill led him to an accidental fake.
Yeah.
I think that's what we can class that as. You can see how proud he is of that. He's like, how has that gone in? And I think we're all thinking that a little bit. Fair play to him. It went in. He got the goal.
I mean, he could have made it easy and just shot it into the gap in the net really, really hard. But no, I'm just going to do a floppy shot. And if one of these players doesn't jump, then they've got the easiest save of their lives. Thankfully for them, they didn't. But we are going now into game 4. Excel trying to make their comeback here. Envyus 1 game away once again from taking this series.
Now we're going to see if Excel can hopefully... They're going to want to be getting their second, like we said. Trying to get 1 more point. But a pass coming across from Mount there. A shot, sorry, from Mount, and just gets above the crossbar. Waffle trying to get back in the centre. Charging, calling that off Niels Cook. Very, very good shout there. Pondex goes for a shot in the middle, tries to go 50-50, demos Freeze, can leave them with 2 on the back, but Waffle gets a nice clear off the backboard.
Dingle accidentally setting up Pwned in the middle. Those ceiling touches are very tough to make. They send themselves up high, you don't know whether they're going to make the touch or not. Oh, good fake from Pondex. It's looking to me at the moment, Pondex is trying to do too much. I don't think he's got a huge amount of trust in his 2 teammates now, and he's looking to carry his team through, but at this level you require passing plays to break down a defense. You very rarely see solo plays work.
Yeah, there's 2 ways that sort of, if you get a bit tilted, there's 2 ways that it can go. Either you tilt against yourself and you think, okay, I'll take a back seat, see if I can slot back into rotation nice and neatly and see if we can get back in there, or I'm going to go all out, I'm going to be the star on this team, these guys aren't doing it, I'm going to do all the plays. And that is dangerous. That is such a dangerous way to think.
Yeah, because your teammates still think they're part of the game, so they still go for the ball when you're going for it anyway. And it just leads to double commits, which is never good for a team. But the game is still 0-0. There is still time for them to sort things out. As I think Pondex is going for a demo there. Mount looking a little bit lost in his own goal area.
Freeze, great touchdown. Unfortunately, can't control it after that touch. Niels Cook intercepts. Pondex gets it into the orange corner. Niels Cook into the centre very weakly, taking a leaf out of Dingle's book there. So a nice easy clear from Envy.
Pondex trying to set up his teammates, but Waffle off the backboard. I've noticed Envy doing very well off the backboard this game. A normal passing play for this XL team is to send it to that backboard, read it off the backboard and shoot. And that's just not effective when Envy are covering. They're going to have to look for those infield passes, the faster route to the net, where those backboard players are essentially taken out of the game.
You can really see how these players feather their boost as well.
Boink!
Oh, no, just high. Over, just high. Why? They should just allow them. They should just
Allow.
let them in. If you've donked it towards the net, that's a goal. Or at least an attempt.
Or perhaps if someone's just doinked it, the goals suddenly become 50% bigger, just to make it more likely.
That would be nice. That would be good. I'd enjoy that. But as I was saying, you saw a minute ago, for about a minute ago now, that Waffle feathered his boost so well. He was the last one back. He had about 40 boosts, and he needed to get a ball that was right by the ceiling.
Oh, good shot. Yeah, as we are just seeing Excel shoot, shoot, but it's not working out for them.
So many backboard saves as well, like you said.
The wall of Waffle has returned for us. Niels, no way! Set up
Josh Dingle!
We can't see a thing! No way is that Niels got in!
This is off the side!
As Mount trundles towards the ball with 0 boost.
He is a trundler. He is a chandler. Pondek's trying to get the centre in there for Niels Cook. Gets another touch.
What a read it!
Is it Pondex who just popped it up a little bit, or did he not get a touch at all?
I think Pondex looked for the block, and because Waffle missed it, it meant Mount was in an awkward position. Niels Cook knew exactly what he was going to try and do.
Great
Reads
done.
the play and pops it into there. And Excel go ahead once again. Quite late into the game this time, but it is 1-0 Excel. If they can hold this off, we'll be going to a game 5.
I mean, the other game they won, they were 1-0 up at the start.
Exactly.
So if they can get another goal, that sets them up very, very nicely. As Envy are going to be thinking, okay, we didn't come back from here before, can we try it again? And if they get into a mindset that they can't, that is very, very scary.
It's interesting. We're seeing a much better performance from Excel here. They are looking to put the ball into the space where their teammates are waiting. Envy looking quite passive. They're holding themselves off a little bit more than they were in the first 2 games. Perhaps they're just thinking, we've got 3 games to do it. One of them, they're going to make enough mistakes that we can win, but really, they've just got to be aggressive. They've got to take the game from their opposition.
They can't afford to be slow here because they are playing, Excel are playing for time. Envy don't have the time to play for. So if they can speed this game up as much as possible, then they are going to, I think they're going to see some really good results.
I wonder if we're seeing something similar to the Street Fighter yesterday. The final game of Street Fighter, once one of the teams got that single point from taking it to a final game, the other team just had a bit of fun. They tried out different characters. Perhaps that's happening now for Envy. Now that they know they've secured that 5th spot, they're just relaxing, just going through the motions, not really thinking about trying too hard. And hopefully they'll get that spark of energy to bring it up to the next level so they can finish it off. Otherwise, Excel in these final 15 seconds will be able to hold off the Envy attack and take it to a game 5.
10 seconds left. Pondek's going to be sending it down towards the Envy half. This is going to be very, very hard to come back from now. Freeze is going to be sending it. Waffle, can he get the shot off here?
Oh.
Just tips it above. Pondek's keeps it up. Waffle keeps it up again, and Freeze is going to have to go for that. I think that's just out of there. I mean, Waffle's there. Waffle's there. No, Niels Cook, very well done there. Sees it coming towards him. That's always such an awkward time because if you're on the blue team and you need that second for the buzzer beater, you're going to think, okay, I just need him to touch it. But Niels is thinking, I'm alone here. Why would I touch it? I'll just let it hit the floor and we win.
Exactly.
Why would I touch this?
Because your instinct, you see a player by the ball and you go, they're going to hit this. 100% they're going to hit this. But you can just see there the shots. There was 3 shots from Envy. They're not putting any pressure on this XL team at all. There's that doink. Replay man knows.
Oh, that's such a shame. That's such a shame.
And I don't know how that one didn't go in. We got smoke screen for a brief moment. Niels tried to finish it off.
Flipped the wrong way as he's gone for it, which is a big shame. But he got a great dunk there. That one goal is going to take them to 5th game.
Game 5.
Game 5. Big old game 5.
He's happy.
He's very happy. He was a pleased lad, wasn't he?
Yeah, going into game 5, as we do see, I just want to bring attention. Charging Dingle. He has a Season 3 Grand Champion title.
I can't not laugh at his name.
And the fact his name is capitalized every other letter. This man is a walking meme.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy who had to type out that name for the cards that we've got that pop up.
Yeah.
Because he's had to get that right as much as he can. He's had to get the correct letters to be capitalized.
We are going now into game 5. Envy versus XL. We will find out now who is the winner of the underperformers, as they both were hoping to make playoffs, both of them just narrowly missing out. Now they need to make a statement as to who is the better of the 2.
The battle for the, like you said, the best underperformer is on.
The weakest link.
The weakest link. They've all won that. That's hard.
Oh, what a shot.
I'm sorry, Mount. I'm sorry, Mount. You've proved me wrong. You're not a weak link.
What a response there as he booms it in. 111 km/h shot. Frizz down off the ceiling, an underused assisting technique there. Oh. Right onto Mout's nose, who sends that just below the crossbar, putting Envy in the lead to start this game off. But we do still have about 5 minutes of gameplay to see who will be taking the series. Who do you think it's going to be?
It's so hard to call. Excel now, they are on a run. They've got the confidence, they've got the momentum. But I think from that shot by Mout, seeing how composed he was afterwards, they are not going to take this laying down. So I think it could be Envy. I think Envy will come back. They'll think, right, we've had our fun. We're going to take this game now. How about you, mate?
I hope it's Excel, because those last two performances from Excel deserve a win. That's playing like a top playoff team should do. But it was the mistakes of the first two games that allowed Envy to win. And I feel like now that these teams are warmed up, I don't think those mistakes are going to come out. So I believe that Excel will be able to come back with a goal here. Not like that, though. We're just talking about the mistakes. And Niels just shows us exactly how they're done. I remember when I first started playing this game, I called this shot a bobble shot. A bobble. Because it just bobbles over the opponent. You're not going for power. You're just going for the unpredictability of that first bounce. Where's it going to land? How much power has it got on it? Niels Cook has not read that well. I don't know if he didn't have very much boost or if he was just badly positioned. But he's not dealt with that, and that's going to make that 2-0, which a team's not come back from 2-0 just yet. Can I change my answer? No, you're locked in. I'm locked in. Yep. Envy are probably going to win now because it's very tough to come back, but we will see. There's plenty of time left, and mistakes like that from Niels are enough to put a team off. As we are seeing a bit of pressure from Excel, nothing really too dangerous for this Envy team to deal with. They're working it out together, nice and controlled. Ball up high, Frizz wins out that challenge against Dingle. And Niels is going to have to boom that back. He does the half volley off the wall. Something that seems so challenging when it was first used in competitive Rocket League. Now every player is expected to be able to half volley off the backboard. I've only just got used to doing them as well myself. There we go, another one. There we are. But they just go so far. The double touch there, trying to come out there from Freeze. Having a go. Oh, Niels Cook gets a dunk on Mout. Just wide. Dingle steals that boost, gets it into the centre, and Mout's going to be able to get a big clear. That's a goal. I lied about the big clear, and Niels Cook... Quite the opposite, really. Quite the opposite. He got a deft touch towards Niels Cook. Look at this. But yeah, that couldn't have been smaller. You called the big clear, and it's the smallest clear of his life. As Niels gets the easy half volley shot on an open net, he does not miss those. We were talking about half volleys off the backboard. Mout needed a half volley there off the floor. He's got that on the sort of roofy bit of his car and tried to flip it sideways, trying to get it away from Niels Cook. It's not worked. Especially with that Batmobile. Hitting it off the roof is never very effective. As Envy looking to get the breakaway, Niels looks out of boost, tries to make the predictive save, but it is Frizz who puts it just out of his control and gets them back into a 2-goal lead at halftime. Within 30 seconds, they have got the retaliation goal. Sneaks it past Niels Cook. 3-1, still a 2-goal deficit, but we've seen that they've had one back. I don't know if the momentum from that goal necessarily would have been taken out now by that goal that Envy have had in response. I mean, to be fair, there's been a lot of mistakes this game that have led to goals. That's what we saw in game 1 and 2. Envy came out the better in that situation. Once the play became a little bit more controlled, we saw Excel starting to look a bit more dominant because they are used to playing the top level of Rocket League where everything is very predictive. Whereas Envy, they're used to a scrappier game, which is what it is now, and they pick up on those mistakes. As we do see Pone reading that wall clear reasonably well. Time is slowly ticking away, though, for this Excel team. They need to create something now. I think they're just trying to get, not time waste, but time manage. Trying to get the time used well and not let Excel have a big rush on their net. That's a shot to the far post, just wide. Niels, this time not coming out the better. The striker for his team today, not able to find his second goal of this game. Gonna come down, but Charging Dingle is there. Good read, dangerous position. Pondex misses it. That's it. Mout plants it in, getting his hat-trick for this game, taking Envy up 4-1 with 1 minute 30 left. What did we say? Envy like a scrappy game because they're always waiting for those mistakes, ready to pounce in and finish them off, and that is exactly what Mout did there. Saw Pondex looking uncomfortable, floating towards that ball. Hits it on the half volley, a powerful shot, unsavable for the landing Niels Cook, and that will probably secure this game as we are entering towards the final moments of this game. To score 3 goals in a minute is incredibly tough, let alone when you've been struggling to score in the whole series. Yeah, we've not seen the 2-goal deficit come back from.
let alone a 3. So that's essentially this game over. There's going to be pressure still put on by Excel. They're going to try and play for the pride. They got a point, but that point won't do them very much, unfortunately. Next season, they need to be used to the LAN environment, surely.
I mean, we hopefully will see them again, because obviously this is a new roster this season, slightly different. They got Pondex in, who was going to be the hero for the team. In fact, I think he got an MVP in the early weeks, because he showed up so big. And then I think their lack of practice and the fact that they've been getting demotivated by this losing streak has led them to underperform. As we do know that they are a quality team. They were often beating some of the best teams in Europe in the online environment. It's just here on the Gfinity stage, they're not quite able to perform at that same level, but congratulations to Envy, who, as we said before, secured the 5th spot.
Just missing that open net though, but that's fine.
That's fine at this stage.
That was a glory goal. That was a glory goal. That's all that was going to be.
2 and 1. Is the ball going to touch down? Either team going to score. Niels drops it down, and Envy do get the win. They get the series win as well as the positional win in the league table. Envy just missing out on playoffs once again, coming in that 5th spot. But Excel, what a shame for Excel this season. It's just not been great.
Yeah, they've nearly come back for the reverse sweep. They had a good attempt at it, but yeah, unfortunately, like you say, both teams missing out, playing just for pride.
Yes, so I know that there's some analysts waiting on the table with Tom who want to talk about both these teams, the underperformers. What do you guys think?
Thank you very much, Greg and Stumpy. Beautiful casting there of what was an entertaining back and forth game. I feel like Envy let them back in, but how did you see that one?
It looked like we're just going to be out for the quick 3-0, but no, there's a little bit of a fight back from Excel, which is good to see. They got that 1 point on the board, maybe a little bit of pride, but they'll be disappointed they couldn't get that reverse sweep completed, I think.
Yeah, and in the last game, the deciding game, here it is in front of us now. Maut getting a cheeky little hat-trick. It must be a nice feeling when you get the hat-trick.
I mean, this wasn't any hat-trick as well. This was a hat-trick of really good goals, taking his opportunities that he did get. There was some really sick shots. I mean, I saw both me and Johnny pop off when Pondex scored just an incredible angle in game number 4. But this was just game 5. Excel couldn't hold up to the pressure any longer, and Envy stopped them.
I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, some fans there, very excited.
We found the Envy fans.
Yeah, but Envy getting that win, I mean, surely they must be able to use this now. There was a point that Gregan made that they like it when a game gets a bit scrappy, because then they can take advantage of it. But that's not the tactic that's going to hopefully win you the Elite Series. So what do they need to do? Where do they need to go from here?
It's a weird point for Envy. If they'd got that 3-0, they would be pretty happy, I think. But letting the Excel lineup fight back in when they do have a substitute playing on his debut, and I think it was a solid debut as well for Charging Dingle. Very impressive from Excel to get that 2 games in a row. But for Envy, they've had the solid roster all the way through, apart from 1 week where they played with Frag. So they should be playing more consistently than Excel at this point, who have been underperforming. So is it now time for Envy to maybe think about changing something up? You know, obviously we're going to leave that to them. I'm not trying to hint at any behind the scenes here. Got no idea. But you never know what they're thinking right now. So
you're suggesting they may shake up that lineup? Well, you know what? I'll hold that thought for a second. Let's pose it to Ariel. Ariel, you're with Envy. How are they feeling right now? And are there going to be some lineup changes?
Yes, I'm here backstage, and I just want to say, you look deflated for a team that's just won.
Yeah, but we got 5th, so we're not in the playoffs, so there's no reason to be happy.
Oh, well, do you know what, though? At least you're not 8th.
Well, 5th and 8th, same thing, no playoffs.
Oh, dude, it's not all about that. Let's be happy. I mean, it was a close call there, because Excel came back, and it was like, ooh, nail-biting stuff, but you got through there in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, the last game we started off really well with 2 goals pretty quickly, so we chilled.
Yeah. Were you a little bit too relaxed then? Is that why they managed to get a couple of games back?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe just a pity point. Pity point.
Oh, pity point. Well, that's all the P's, because you were playing for pride, but also playing for your teams in the franchise table. So you're happy with that result?
Yeah. Of course, we're always happy with a win.
And are you looking forward to the rest of the action today? We've got Reason Gaming and Method at the end of the day. Who are you going to call out for that? Do you think Method are going to do it? Do you think Reason, they're still undefeated?
I think if Method doesn't have their full roster in, Reason is probably going to take it.
Everyone's saying this. It's all about the lineup when it comes to Method. Well done, guys. Don't be so sad. You deserve a celebratory eggnog. Back to you, Tom.
Oh, the greatest way to celebrate any Rocket League victory is with a glass of eggnog. What even is eggnog? But anyway, Ariel didn't even ask the question of roster change. It was a good decision. But is that what would happen if things don't go? Let's talk generally about Rocket League. If the roster's not working, it's time to make a change. Envyus did it, and now look at Prophecy.
I'm a firm believer that you do need to give time to things to see whether or not it will work in the long run. They have now given time to it. It has not worked. We actually saw their best performances last season when they were playing with Remco, and he's a very strong positional player that they had on that roster that seemed to fix all of their problems. I think someone has to move out of that roster now. They need to search just for a strong positional player, put that onto the roster, and I think that will solve a lot of what's going wrong for them.
But who? Who goes?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Is that really what it is? They play a similar role and therefore...
They all want to be the star, I think. Yes. They all kind of want to be the star player, which is what you alluded to earlier. They all looking up to that main Envy roster who are getting all the glory and, you know, former world champions. Didn't make RLCS Season 4, but they're still former world champions from Season 3. And all these guys from the GFin Elite Series are looking at that roster thinking, maybe I'll get called up to play on the main squad, but I need to stand out to do that. Doesn't work if you get 3 players trying to do that.
What they need to do is they need to sit down in this player interview, and they need no, that's also just as good. They need to sit down and just go, all right, where do you see yourself in 1 year's time for the RLCS? And they put the mic up to them just to go, not really interested in the RLCS. That is the person they are hiring. They need someone with no aspirations, and that will fix them.
Really? You can't break it down by no aspirations. But what you mean, tactically, break it down while we've got the time.
A selfless player. They just need someone who's not going to try to force his way into the game. Because there are successful teams in Rocket League. You know, one of them that comes to mind is PSG. They're not a Gfinity Elite Series team, but they've got, you know, an English player, Bluey, who loves to just be the center of attention, scoring goals, making highlight reel plays. But when he doesn't let his teammates come in and try and, you know, be a part of the offense, they fall to pieces. They just can't perform because you do need that the teamwork in Rocket League. You need to be able to mix things up. You can't always go for solo plays. You can't always go for the goals yourself. Sometimes it'll work, but if you're known to be a player who's just being greedy, just, you know, hogging the ball, hogging the possession, then other teams are just going to punish you. They're never going to expect the pass. They just know you're shooting. They'll block that shot. And maybe it's time now for Envy to try something different. Maybe, you know, they might get a Burrito B, like crazy standout performer on his debut season. There could be other players like that in Europe just waiting to come on and show what they can do in the GFin Elite Series stage.
Okay, I mean, obviously, maybe that's just people like to hog it because they know how good the eggnog is.
Oh,
maybe that's what it is. No?
That's
such a stretch.
Okay. Well, let's have a look at the results from today. We've got one result in so far, but looking at the rest of the matches that are coming up is very, very important. Prophecy infuses our next game. Then Endpoint, reigning champions. Let's not forget it. Let's not forget it. And then we will also have a situation where we will look at the table and the standings. You've got 4 playoff places that have gone. And then basically that's the situation. But Prophecy is going to be a beauty of a game. That's the next match up, isn't it?
Yeah, Prophecy infused, I believe, and that's going to be very interesting because it's the rivalry. It's we no longer have Doomsy to talk about. He's just gone. We all miss him very much. Hopefully we'll see him again. But Ignite and Sebadam are still there, but playing for the opposite side this time. So we waited till the last week before we finally get to see the rivalry make its full course.
Yeah, we did. I think we just went for a second, but I think we're now back on. So that's a beautiful thing. But everyone can hear us, which is absolutely gorgeous. That is what we want.
It's a bit of a relief.
It is a relief because for a second there we were doing a podcast.
Oh, thank goodness they're gone.
Listen, let's have a look at it. We do Rocket League A to Z. So let's do one right now and say. Some say R is for, well, just Rocket League. But here at the Elite Series, you know, we always give you more than that. So R is for rotation.